and welcome everyone to this webinar about AI and iTop, the future of IT operations. Let me introduce myself quickly. I'm Delphine Coil. I'm iTop product manager at Combodo, and I'm really thrilled to be with you today. Tony is going to introduce himself as well, and then David, and we start.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm Denis. I'm the co-founder of Combodo and currently the CTO of Combodo, and I'm here to answer your question at the end if needed.
Thank you, Dennis. Hello, everybody from my side as well. My name is David. I'm founder and CEO of iTomic. We are Combodo's partner literally since the beginning, since 2010. And I'm thrilled to be able to share with you today what we've been cooking as far as AI is concerned.
Great, thank you both. So we are going to start, and what are we going to talk about? Of course, we are going to talk about iTop and AI, give you our vision, tell you about what has been done with iTomic, talk about AI roadmaps and demos, but also to start at an introduction, I wanted to deep dive in a bit in a state-of-the-art view of the AI and ITSM to give you as well our vision a bit and share what we think about AI today for ITSM. So let's start with this introduction. Today, really AI isn't new. For those who could attend the iTop community meetup, you must remember that there was a presentation, a conference about AI history. And actually, if we talk about AI, it's not the buzzword AI, but it's been around for at least 50 years. Talking about new technologies, we talk sometimes about new algorithm, we talked about machine learning, things like that. But nowadays, with the arrival of large language models, really we believe that we are experiencing a real revolution. And how it is in ITSM? Actually, until now, we have noticed that there were a lot of experimentation in ITSM. But today, ITSM is really transitioning in two ways. The first one is regarding the fact that we are not only testing things, but we are going to move into production. As you can see, Gartner's last survey shows that last year, while only 5% of enterprise applications, including ITSM, integrating dedicated AI agents, this year we are already at 40%, and this is not going to slow down. But more important, we are currently moving to a major transition. We are moving from assistance, generative AI, for example, to help summarizing, to answer questions of humans, to gather information on large search, to agent-based AI, which is totally autonomous. And this is really a breaking change because the agentic AI means full autonomy, automating tasks, making decisions, autonomy on an autonomous way, and executing action without human intervention. So, what do you think? Are we going to shift to a total agent world where ITSM is not driven by human but only by machines? We have thought about it, we have talked to our customers, and we believe that sometimes people are living a dream, a myth, and we would like to take 3 examples that we chose to compare kind of myth and tell you about the reality of this year about AI. The first myth. Some people tell you, okay, yeah, now AI is coming. We are going to get rid of service desks totally through AI. Why? Because AI will replace all levels support agents and they are going to do it all by themselves. We believe that it's not correct. Why? Of course, it might change the nature of the work, of the job, but it won't eliminate it. Maybe it will change the way people think by automating repetitive tasks, by maybe answering quick questions to users that would take sometimes to the support agents. But we really think that support agents have a real value that won't be replaced by AI. And they are going to focus on other things, maybe manage complex cases, work on crisis management, and also focus on the empathy, on the people. So that's what we think. I have an example from my previous experience because I've worked in BPM, business process management. And 10 to 15 years ago, we had exactly the same impression about automation because people thought that automation would replace humans by automating tasks. But instead of that, no, it changed the nature of the job. But the reality about ITSM is really that working on predictive routing and classification will help. Why? Because AI understands the context of tickets as soon as it is created, and it will assign it precisely to the right team, to the right person, with the correct priorities. So it is valuable and it's real time, so it will help the support team focus on their job. A second use case. This one is more about analyzing and root cause analyzing. People sometimes say that AI is infallible and will provide 100% accurate root cause analysis. We believe that it's not true. Why? AI is excellent and it's great at correlating data really quickly and data that human won't especially gather and correlate correctly, or that would require a lot of time. But claiming that it can always find the correct cause and the root cause with no issue and with no human input is premature. We really need the human expertise to perform great analysis, precise analysis. So we believe that the human expertise will not be replaced. It will be complementary to what AI can do to work on the root cause analysis. But for example, where AI can be really useful if we talk about gathering information, correlating data, and providing something, is really the dynamic knowledge management. We know that sometimes it's a bit difficult for companies to have a correct and accurate knowledge base. AI would be really valuable here because it would help automatically convert resolved tickets into a clear knowledge base article, filling gaps in the documentation in real time. But of course, what would be even better is to have a kind of validation of the accuracy of this knowledge management article. Then the last example, it's more related to infrastructure, for example. People are going to work on automated workflows to resolve incidents and also to make actions on the infrastructure. It already exists and it has always been done. For example, AI can automatically restart servers, change, update configurations. But do you really think that doing that without human supervision is totally relevant? We believe that we need human supervision to make sure that both that every action done by AI will be accurate, will be secure, especially, and will work. So we think that even if you are going to automate and fully automate some actions, you need a supervision from humans. And that's exactly the same for tasks. But you can still automate routine tasks because sometimes using the autonomous execution by AI agents for password resets, for example, for software access requests, can be useful and won't spend time to users that are in support team, that will be able to focus to more complex tasks and give the autonomy to the users for some routine tasks like that. We really think that human oversight remains essential or useful as soon as it has an impact on security or on, for example, criticality and accuracy. But today, what are the expectations regarding AI? And really, if we think about benefits, what do you think first would be really expected? The state of AI in ITSM last year explains that the first main benefit is really to improve the end user experience finally. Why? Because they believe that the users need to find answers quickly, accurate answers, optimize rapid information. They need to be autonomous as soon as they can, and then be helped by support when really they need a kind of long support and assistance. Then, of course, optimizing ITSM operations. That's also the value of automating tasks, is faster, rely on processes that are really more reliable, more accurate, automate non-complex tasks, focus on complex tasks with humans, and also boosting employee productivity. Today, we know that sometimes a challenge for IT departments is really to improve the user experience while optimizing the cost. So they want to make sure that they are going through AI to enable support teams to manage more tickets or manage complex ones and let them focus on these complex ones. And for example, two of our competitors made a benchmark. They observed that 50 to 70% of reduction in the mean time to resolution was observed through automatic classification and resolution suggestion, and that 30 to 60% of level 1 tickets were resolved automatically through AI without human intervention. So we already see impacts on AI for level 1 tickets and sometimes for the classification to speed up support to help users to be autonomous. But actually, this doesn't come without challenges. And sometimes, if you want to include AI in ITSM and in your environments, you are going to face some challenge that you must address in order to be sure that it will be an investment for the long term. First of all, the data quality. And I added here as a first one because we believe in iTop that it's one of the main challenges that you have to face. Gartner pointed that 40% of AI projects using agent-based AI projects might fail due to fragmented data or outdated and poorly documented processes. Why? Because AI, of course, is going to work and base its results on data. So the quality of the data is key here. When you know the expression garbage in, garbage out, so it's exactly the same for all types of data. And that's the same if your CMDB, for example, is not good. Or, for example, if you have not prepared your knowledge base accurately and with good level of information. So make sure that your CMDB is reliable, that the data in your CMDB is up to date and complete, because otherwise AI won't give you accurate answers, and that will be worse to solve cases and to work on the infrastructure, for example. Then the second challenge is the skills atrophy. Okay, we know that, for example, if we use AI to work on simple tasks, that's great, because then it can help teams focus on more complex problems. But the fact is that sometimes, and I don't know you, but it happened to me once or twice. Sometimes I ask things to AI and I am tempted to take it into account like if it was the truth, really, and do not control what I have done. For example, to do this interaction, I have used AI get the maximum of information and be able to do some research and get information. But I could have said, okay, Mr. has told me it's has given me those key figures, it's fine. No, what I've done is crossing the source, and that's something that is really important. Otherwise, we are going to lose our ability to think critically and to solve problems. So that can be a risk. So we have to make sure that we balance AI assistance with core human analysis and expertise. Today, we have regulations and sovereignty. We know that in the last few years, I would say, things were going very fast, and sometimes there were issues with the data production, for example, with personal data productions, with the transparency, with what was done with the data you used. So thanks to European AI Act, normally we should have transparency regarding decisions made by the algorithm and protect the data. That's another step. Otherwise, you can have the ISO compliance, but they need to make sure that they are going to be consistent to make sure that the regulation is going to work. Otherwise, we still have the risk. But this kind of regulation can impact the model selection. It can impact also the development costs and the security the security investment that you are going to do. And talking about security, have you noticed that AI significantly sped up the reporting of vulnerabilities in software industries? Okay, in iTop as well. We have fixed 38 vulnerabilities in the last 3 months, whereas we had fixed the same number in 12 months before AI raised all the vulnerabilities. So this has an impact as well, because other software vendors are going to be obliged to spend more resources working on that, because, and that's what we do in Combodo, we want to make sure that we maintain a solution that is reliable, that is secure. We won't decrease the quality of our software because the number of vulnerabilities increase. And last but not least, AI can be a cost center. Of course, you know the cost of the token, which can be really impressive and skyrocket if the ticket history grows, if you use multi-agents, even if the price per token is really, really low. But when you think about the bill of AI, talk about data integration. You think that AI in your company is a project. So you are going to start with what? With improving the quality of your data, cleaning it, organizing it, and this will be more or less 60 to 80% of your budget. Then the competencies. Of course, you will need prompt engineers, vectors experts, data scientists, and those experts and engineers, they cost 3 to 4 times the price of a support technician. And don't forget that you are going to be obliged to maintain the model operations, which has a cost as well. Then sometimes you can see heroes, and I hope that you will never face this issue, but Gartner told that a bad AI procedure that causes an N3 incident wipes out all the gains from the previous 500 tickets using AI. And finally, and that's something we talk about, the cost of energy in electricity and of water. So think about the fact that AI is really a project, and to get the ROI, you don't have to focus only on the token, but think it globally. And that's why our vision is not to impose and push AI even if you don't want it. We think that AI should not replace your governance. It should be integrated into it. So what is our vision? First of all, AI in iTop. We want to make sure that we are going to enhance the user capability, but not replace them, and automate process if you want it. But also iTop in AI, we have a CMDB, we have a lot of data. So we want to make sure that iTop is a trusted data source for AI LLM integrations. Our goal is really to offer a flexible and open system that is going to be adapted to your reality. We know that you have different concerns and that your case, your environment, your IT system is unique. You have different processes. You have a variable data model that is going to be customized sometimes. You have specific data. Your security constraints are different. For example, if we talk about HR data or confidential data for healthcare, for example, they are not the same as IT data. You have sometimes requirements regarding the models that can be used. For example, in the French public sector, they have strict requirements for the use of LLMs, and we talk about sovereignty as well. So we want to make sure that with AI, iTop, and the framework Atomic AI Base, we give you the choice. So first of all, you can enable it if you wish. You're not obliged to have it in the tool. You can customize it independently. We are going to make sure that you have sovereignty for your data. First of all, to be able to choose the LLM provider. We make sure that the access of data can be siloed with profiles and secure the data access. You can have it on premise or on sovereign SaaS on OVH, for example, if you use iTop SaaS. We want to ensure the quality and sustainability of the data. So we work on the models, we work on the features to make sure that we give quality results. For us, it's really important, and that we guarantee the maintenance and support of those features. And finally, and especially for our partners, we are going to guarantee the extensibility of the system. I will let David now tell you about the latest news on AI.
Thank you very much, Delphine. So, as you might have guessed, Atomic AI Base has some contributions of us, Atomic, in it. It's a collaboration and a co-development that we are very happy to have been doing with Kombodo for about a year. And it's a base layer that integrates AI capabilities into the core of iTop, meaning that it makes it possible to interact with any LLM, be it OpenAI or Mistral or from Anthropic or even Olama. So we went to a certain degree of length to be certain that even open source and open weight models are a first-class citizen when you are using the AI-based layer in iTop. On top of this layer, which has been integrated into our products and is running in production in several instances since about a year, there are a number of features that have been integrated, and all of those are publicly available. So there's a GitHub repository where the developers among you might want to take a peek if you prefer to go deep diving into the code. And it's also available on the iTop Hub for download. It's already compatible with iTop 3.2 and will be integrated into iTop 3.3 once it is released. Now, other than just in general terms interacting with any LLM, it also features something called multi-turn conversation, meaning what you usually know when you have a chat. You have a question, the LLM answers, you have another question on top of that, and the context keeps growing, so you actually have a conversation that remembers what was already asked and answered. Also, there is a feature called tool calling, which enables the LLMs to call or to trigger the calling of selective functions inside the tool. So theoretically, for example, an LLM could trigger the assignment of a ticket if something like that would be chosen by you to be implemented. There is another block that builds on AI base, which is called Natural Language to OQL, something that Kombodo has put a certain effort into and which was also already shown in Paris late last year, which essentially translates using AI base and several steps of logic and an LLM, translates a question in natural language into a valid OQL query, with OQL being the query language integrated into iTop, and also taking into account specifics of your data model. So if you have specific classes or relations in your data model, this would already work based on this feature. And there is semantic search, so vector-based searching in the pipeline for development as well. Again, if you want to see in real time what's happening, there is the GitHub repository available for everybody to take a look. Now, I would like to take a look at concrete use case examples, some of which are taken from the AI stack that is integrated into our products, but all of which are built on iTomic AI base, which, as I just said, is going to be integrated into iTop 3.3. So we will see the summarization of a ticket in a certain way. There are others, but we will see one. There is also a feature for ticket categorization, which can be made automatic, something like the type of the request. Is it an incident or a service request? The priority based on whom it impacts and the urgency, as well as the right service and service subcategory. We will also see drafting a message as a response to the caller and translating that message into a different language. And catering to the data quality point that Delphine correctly mentioned, we will also see the LLM, the AI, helping the agent draft a structured solution description. So this is a recording that we will show you, which we can start now, and I will explain what we are seeing. Now, this is an example ticket where a caller, Frida Kahlo, some of you might know her, has a problem with her iPhone. It's not charging very well, and there's been a lot of back and forth with the agent, which is Michael Crichton at the moment. And just imagine that you have to take over this ticket because Michael Crichton is on vacation and enjoying his life at the beach, and you have to keep on working on this. Of course, you could read everything, but you could also ask AI to help you a little bit, which is what we are going to see. So there is an AI button that creates a pop-up where you can chat, among other things, and you can just ask the LLM what steps were taken. This is running against an endpoint which is OpenAI compatible, but is actually in a data center in Munich. So it's completely private. There is no training on the data. There is no retention of the data. And as you can see, the response is happening in a very well-structured way and pretty fast as well. So it seems that Michael Crichton had already found that it's probably a charging cable problem. And we just need to write to Frida that, yeah, we are sorry it took so long, but we know what it is and how we can resolve it. Now we have the draft of the message, which of course is in English, but I just remember that Frida prefers to be communicated to in French. So let's ask the LLM to draft something in French. And we can just paste it into the public log, but it's not yet sent, it's not persisted. So the human, the agent, remains master of what is actually being stored or done in this case. Now we could resolve the ticket, and we will see that the LLM pre-fills the solution field with a structured description of the problem, the resolution, workarounds, and steps undertaken, which of course gradually increases the data quality in your iTop and then permits future workflows to take that data and more easily identify solutions for problems that are coming in as new tickets, but you already have resolved something very similar.
Okay, so now that we have taken about something, all the use cases that are already available, let's jump into the future and what we are building. So here is the really near future and already available as well, because we have worked on the way to make iTop data source for AI, and we have worked together for via two protocols. one made by iTop, by Combodo, sorry, and the other one made by Itomic. So the first one is the MCP server to enable an AI agent to explore, use, and combine new tools without human intervention. Think about a kind of API that is linked to AI agents, for example. For those who don't know it, I don't know, maybe MCP means Model Context Protocol. And the other one, I will let David talk about it.
Of course, thank you very much, Delphine. So the other way to integrate iTop into AI-based workflows or AI in general is a connector, a node for N8N, which is, I believe, a very well-known workflow tool. We have created and published with, of course, with the confirmation of Combodo, a certified community node for iTop, which permits you to actually install an iTop node into any of your N8N instances just by the click of a button. And then you can interact with your iTop and create workflows with or without AI that use this. And some of those we call value workflows, and we will see an example of those. So what I will show you is an example of something we actually have in production, which creates what we call briefings. It gets scheduled, what you see on the left-hand side, by a time-based trigger, and then you see on the top in the middle, there is the all-famous iTop node. So it will just get information from, in this case, our iTop instance with which we do support for our customers. And then there is another place where it actually does a summarization of those tickets after having cleaned it up a little bit, so it's easier to process for the LLM. Again, this is using, as you can see at the bottom, GPT-OSS, which is an open source, open weight model published by OpenAI, and it uses European endpoint, so no data retention, no training. The result of which then gets put into an HTML template that we write into our chat and publish internally. So our support agents have a very dense informational dashboard every morning about what is actually going on, if there is something particularly urgent, and so on. It's a very easy way to keep track of what's happening, even when there is a lot of workload and so on. So this is one example of such a workflow. Again, we call it a value workflow because it takes things out of iTop and adds value to it using AI. But of course, the possibilities are almost endless. The node is public, and you can easily install it just by searching for iTop. When you add a new node to your workflow, it should be there. Just click on plus and it gets installed.
Yeah, and for example, we could imagine that if people use the same kind of workflow to have their morning briefing, they can also embed it in iTop using one of the extensions that allow the display of this kind of HTML page directly in iTop as well.
Of course.
Okay, thank you, David. So just to go back to the MCP server, iTop, we have a first version today. So how it works, it will help getting as well information from iTop. Okay, so first of all, you can see that here you can have a kind of LLM assistant or agent through a chatbot or other ways to ask a question or require actions. And then the MCP server is going to do actions that are called tools, orchestrate those actions with a contextualization way and get the data from iTop to be able to answer those questions. So the first version of our MCP server does not support OAuth, so you will have to authenticate via token, but it's already available and it would be published as a beta version in the next few weeks on GitHub and on iTop. So please feel free to use it, test it, and give us your feedback so that we can prepare a second version quickly. And if we move on to AI in iTop this time, here you can see the roadmap of what we plan to do in iTop regarding AI features that are complementary to what Itomic has already done. The phase 1 is already ready to be delivered with iTop 3.3, as David already told you. And then in the second phase, we are going to create an AI extension to make sure that it won't be linked and related to a iTop 3.4, but being able to give you something as soon as possible and also add features regularly and on an iterative way. So we are going to create a centralized context-sensitive interface with different types of assistance with features such as ticket creation assistance, summaries, translation, classification, as David told you, natural search and natural OQL creation, automated reports, and these with some features will be available from the iTop portal and the other ones in the back office. And then when the semantic will be ready, because we are still developing this part, we will launch the next phase, including agents and semantic capabilities to be able to suggest solutions, create articles of knowledge based on multiple tickets, and create autonomous AI agents, help on portal creations in the back office, in the portal, and the designer. What is our vision of the AI interface in iTop back office for support agents? We want to have something that is simple and has a single and centralized user experience via accessible in all objects of iTop and tailored to the context to make sure that, for example, if you are on a ticket or if you are on an audit, the context is different, so we are going to, the AI assistant or agent is going to understand that you are on this page and make sure that it won't tell you about, I don't know, a CI where you are on a ticket or something like that. Then, in order to make it easier for you to use it, we are going to give you access to a library of prompts and agents, and the library of prompts based on typical and standard use cases in ITSM that you are going to be able to tailor, of course, and to configure or customize yourself. And then we want to give the option to integrate additional features, especially for our partners. Of course, as I told you, behind that, you have the choice of your model. So you won't be obliged to use one model. You can choose. And we are going to show you as well 2 quick use cases with iTop. The first one is the ability to create dashboards, and then how to create an incident report and a knowledge base article. So let's start with the dashboard. I guess you see it. Here I want to update. So I will ask my chat interface. This interface is not the last one, okay? We're still working on it, but at least you can see the capabilities behind that. So I asked him to add a new KPI showing the variation of the number of tickets created during the last 30 days compared to the previous one. So it's going to work on my request. And as you can see, you have a preview here with a new dashlet showing the trends. And here it's going to explain you what has been done. So you see that he has chosen a specific dashlet, added a title that you can, of course, change if you want. But what is interesting as well is that it has built the OQL related to the report I want to create. So it's correct. So I want to update my welcome page. So I'm going to save it. Because I don't want it to update pages and dashboards or information without my validation. If I come back to the welcome page, I can see that my dashlet has been created. Now I want to ask him to change the appearance and rearrange the welcome page in 2 columns. The left, all the badges, and on the all the remaining items on the right. So it's going to do it. And what is interesting here, when we see the preview, is that it has not only changed the dashlets, but also the title. So the configuration item, which was the title of the dashlet section, has been moved to the left-hand side and all the rest on the right-hand side. And of course, if I update it and I come back to my welcome page, I will see the new display of the welcome page. Like that. So that's a first a use case. What we have done, because we wanted to make sure that we could tune the, well, which LLM to use, the performances of our request, the cost extra, we have added tools like that gives you the cost of the tokens, the wait time, that tells you about the LLM that is used and the model, that shows you some of the skills that are used and all the tasks that are done behind to give you the answer. That's to make sure that it is transparent. Then if I show you a second use case, this time we are going to create don't know which one had a critical priority, so I will first ask him to give me the critical priority. Okay, I found my critical issue, which is the one with the mailbox. I will ask him to write a report out of this issue. So it's working on my request. So what has been done here is using a prompt based on a specific template to have the same structure for each report. And you can see that it's based on what? On an incident with a very long discussion and log about the issue. But the problem we have here is that the agent has not added any resolution information. So the agent has to understand all the tickets to give the information and write down the report. What has been done here? You see the resolution steps, the recommendation, and preventive actions. And of course, I will ask him as well, because I think that the information is interesting, and for the time being, we don't have relevant information, to create a knowledge-based article entry out of this incident report. He asked me details to make sure that it will do it correctly, but I don't want to give him any information. I will tell him to make sure he decides himself about the category where the FAQ should be placed. So I ask him to pick one of its choice and link it to the incident. So it's still working, and you will see very soon that it has created a new FAQ. Okay, so here is the detail of what has been done. I can see that it has chosen the right category, even if I had not picked up any category myself, and I will ask him to add it. The FAQ has been created. Here are two examples of what we have done in iTop as use cases. And finally, if we talk about the end user portal, we really plan to work on the ticket creation help first, and then when we have the semantic search, making sure to help users be autonomous and find a solution by themselves. If you use Wikit, or if you wanted to use Wikit, you can already integrate iTop with Wikit because they have a semantic agent and they have a chat that is working because we have an integration with Wikit today. So you'll have the choice.